Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. This is Richard, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about maps. Now, I have an obsession with maps. It's true. Anytime we travel, it's mandatory by my CDO, and that's OCD for most of you guys out there, but for those of us with it, you got to keep it in order. Anyway, with my CDO, I have to stop at the very first rest stop in a new state and get a map. You can ask my wife. It really interferes with me mentally, and then that interferes with me physically if I do not do that. It is absolutely something that has to be done. And for those of you who don't comprehend CDO, you just don't understand the have to. But anyway, I love maps. Maps are very, very simple to to read and to use. But anything is simple and easy if you know what you're doing. Now, this is not a video on teaching map reading and skills of such nature. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that you can go to learn how to do that. I may eventually put a video up on that sort of thing, but today we're just going to discuss and show you some of my maps. So quickly, to begin reading a map, really what you need is a protractor, a map protractor. Now, this one here, let me reach down here and grab my eyeballs. This one here is a military Department of the Army graphic training aid, GTA 5-2-12 from 1981. So that's this here, and I've had this since the Army. This is actually the one that I used in the Army. You can tell it's a yellow and all nasty and stuff. I've got another one here somewhere. Maybe show you. Well, let me reach down in here. So here's the one that I rarely use and is rather new. It's clear, as you can see, but obviously this one has got cracks and bends in it. It's very yellowed. I love this one. As a matter of fact, I don't even use the other one. I still use this one whenever necessary. But anyway, this is a very important item to have. Now, the problem with it is that it is meant to be reading military maps, and it does not always work well when you are trying to read civilian maps, like topographical maps. Sometimes the dimensions just don't work. Anyway, off topic. Another thing that's important to me is my pace count. I have worked out my pace count, and I've made myself a nice little notebook that describes how to do that, and it has my pace count in it so that if I ever forgot a compass and a set of ranger beads or pace beads, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, with that, you should be able to get anywhere you want using a map. Now, I'm going to show you a few of the maps that I have, and right off the bat, and I should have had all this stuff prepared, but when do I ever prepare anything for these videos? I don't. Anyway, these are, let's see, this one is Hazelburg, Indiana. It is a Hazelburg quadrangle of small section of Indiana. Now, I downloaded these off of the internet. Now, they are not to scale but these work very, very well. Now, again, the Army mapping tool does not quite fit these squares, but it's close. It's close. If you want to get to a general area, it'll still work. But anyway, I've taken these, cut them out, and pasted them together, glued them together into this very large map. And when it's unfolded, it would fit an entire wall. It's not the entire state, but it's my area. So anyway, I don't know how many are on here. It's taken me a while to get what I've gotten done, but anyway, this is one of my favorite maps that I use, especially when I want to stay within the state of Indiana, but go a good distance. So another map that I really like is this Universal Map Road Atlas of Indiana right here. Now, on page 16, let's see here, yeah, 16 L12 is my hometown. Now, this is a very good map. This has the whole state. I can get wherever I want. And you can see pretty much even small towns are listed on this. So I like this map. This map helps me out a lot. But what I'm going to do is move over here to the table because I want to show you a couple maps over here and discuss those. So let's move the camera and I'll get right back with you. So here is a common map of my town. Let's see here. There you go. Welcome to Kokomo. So anyway, this is a very common map that you can get in any place around that gives out maps of this town. Nothing special about it. What we're going to look at is that right there. That right there is Camp Juliet Mike. There we go. So that's the small section that we're going to look at today on a couple other maps. Alright, now this map you're looking at right here is an actual topographical map done by a geological survey. So this is an actual topographical map. It is Kokomo West Quadrangle. So this one here is a very nice map, but we're going to look at this really small section right there that I have circled, and again Camp Juliet Mike right there. Oop, little too much. Maybe pull back just a tad bit more. There we go. So there is Camp Juliet Mike on that map, which is really nice to see. One more map I'm going to show you. And here is another map of the same area, and this is something that I did myself. I used a projector to project the Kokomo map onto this poster board, well, foam board from the Dollar Tree, and made myself a larger map of the camp, or the area that the camp is at. And so this way I have something that I can play around with, I can mark on, I can do whatever I want with it. So when I go to camp, what I do is I will come down Park Road right here, and then I will cut in about right here, and that's when I hit this trail. Now this trail right here, you will normally see me riding, and I'll ride this along here, until, well, let's see, about right here is where I'll ride it. And then this is where it ducks into the woods. So you'll see me take that dirt trail, and then I'll come along here and I'll follow the creek. Now it goes all the way back to Park Road right here, and I've done a video showing that area, but usually I probably camp or I stop off around this area right here. It's where I stop off and do a lot of my videos. I do not have the trail on here yet. It's not on any maps that I have because, well, it's such a small item. I'm going to have to map it myself. But this is the paved trail that goes around the entire park. So I can use this as a reference. I can use the creek as a reference. And also I can use these roads as references to be able to make my own map of the area in there. So anyway, this is, I love this map here. This here is a projection of, if I can move this here, there we go, is simply a projection of that right there. So I just projected that onto my foam board, and voila, I've got that. And again, I also have the actual topographical map, which shows the same area right there. This map here shows Camp Osage, and if you guys watched my Osage videos, my Camp Osage videos, you can tell that little swampy area there. You can see about where my camp was compared to that, because I was right on it. And that little dot is the center of the woods, and I do have that marked out there with a graphite rod. Right there is the center of the woods. I don't have very much on this map here. I have smaller maps that I carry with me that I mark most of my stuff. And again, this one here is taken off of an actual map that I projected onto this foam board. It's a little bit different than the topographical map, but this is Mississinewa, and I like to go out there and do some fishing. When I go out to do fishing, I like to go to that area right there. If you can see, that's marked with, I put my stick up. Anyway, right here, this is a drive that goes up, and then there's a little parking area right there, and then this is where I go do a lot of my fishing right there. And I've done several videos out there as well, but this here is Mississinewa. Now that right there looks like an area in which you can walk out here, and it creates like a little peninsula. Now all this white is actually wooded, so it should be green. I just haven't colored it in yet. But the problem with it is that the map that I used to make this showed it just like this. Now if you look at the topographical map, like the actual map that was taken from satellites, this is not a peninsula, it's actually an island. And this area here where my stick is pointing is also blue and covered with water. So this is actually an island on the topographical map, but the map that you get when you go to Mississinewa shows it like this. So I don't know if there's a time difference and the level of the water has altered to make it an island, or whether it was originally a peninsula. I'm not really sure, but regardless, this is how I have the map, so this is how I'm going to keep it. But this is also one of my favorite maps. I really like this. Follow this road here, into here is there's a beach area, and then you can follow Old Francis Slocum Trail this way to this position here, and this is where I usually go in to do some fishing right there. So this is the official DNR Miss Sinawal Lake little pamphlet that they hand out, and here is the map in which I used to put on my poster board. But again, like I said, if you actually look at an actual topographical map, it's slightly different than that. So I have this little folder here in which I keep a lot of my mapping tools and maps. Now here is area I call Tango. Now I don't go out here often, and I'll go ahead and show it to you guys because I don't really use this map very often, but this right here is an area in which I call Tango. And actually, if I were to position it correctly, it would be like this, to be totally honest. And you can see that little dot right there. That's actually my brother's house. And then all of these woods here. Now he doesn't own those woods, so I don't get to go out there very often. I've only actually been out there once or twice. But anyway, as an example, here's a good one. Now this one has GPS locations on it, and I don't mind showing you this because we don't live there anymore. But this is when we owned the trailer, and the first trailer is marked by that, and then this is where we moved, where we lived for, like, I don't know, many years before we sold the trailer and went on. But anyway, up in here is a field, and here is some woods in which I used to hang out right in here. And then I have a bunch of GPS location marks to designate borders and things and stuff. Now somewhere in here, let me look. Okay, here, the next page over. This is an actual satellite. I just dropped a bunch of stuff. This is an actual satellite picture from the internet of those woods. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure how well the camera is doing with that. But anyway, I have maps galore. I love maps. Maps are one of my most favorite things to play with. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay, well here's a few more little maps that I play around with on occasion. I just love maps. Oh, Camp Osage. Here's my map of Camp Osage. Right here. One of them. It's not really detailed, but it's much more detailed than the previous Camp Osage map that I showed you. So, not too bad. This one actually marks, this one here, if you can see that star, that actually marks where the emergency camp was set up. And anyway, there we go. I've got several more maps here, but I'm not going to show those to you. This is one of my little prized map collections that I've been gathering over the years. And, well, here's another thing that I really enjoy. These are actually topographical maps of my area. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus that one is 7 different areas of here. So I love these topographical maps. I get them out and I play with them from now, every once in a while. So that's my basic idea about maps here. showing you some of my campsites and showing you how I like to keep track of that kind of stuff. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and enjoy the outdoors, even if it's just your own backyard.